Well, I believe, the Constitution, I believe the Constitution is what it says, and we need to follow the Constitution that way. I do believe, we talk promoting science and it's in the Constitution and other things. I think I'm a big believer that's in federalism, that state governments, as I talked about Medicaid earlier, we have 50 different, plus the District of Columbia, experiments in the way government should work. I mean, we can look at what's going on in California and New York, and we've taken our federal government that direction, and it leads to high unemployment and high deficits, and that's where we are. We've seen other states like Texas that are growing again, and so I think federal government should do things to the states. I do think there's a role for the federal government to say, here's our strategy, our strategic look on education, our strategic look on energy. I think because energy is something we have to be focused on at the federal level because we're so dependent on foreign oil. So I think for any state, just to we have states that produce oil and coal as we do, but to get out of dealing with foreign oil, the federal government has to be involved in that. But education, so, after Sputnik, the federal government said we're going to have to focus on math and science and let states go do it. And that's where we need to go. The problem currently, and it was under a Republican president, and working with the Democratic legislators, I don't know if it was a majority there or not, but with Ted Kennedy and George Miller, some others on No Child Left Behind. And I think President Bush came from being a governor and wrote the type of law that a governor should write. And a lot of it was a lot of things Kentucky was already doing that was in the law, and so, but it made a one size fit all for every state. And that's my concern in the Department of Education. But I do think there's a federal role for these are the things that we need to do. When you look at India producing more engineers than we do, you look at China producing more engineers than we do, then we say, as a nation to be competitive in the global marketplace, we have to have policies that have engineers created, or we're going to see that, and we're going to lose our competitiveness. But to say this child's going to be tested in this way in this classroom nationwide, I think is a role for states.
Do you think, generally speaking, that the federal government has grown too large? I mean, that balance between state government and federal government, I mean, is the federal government overreaching, or is that balance well struck at this point?
Well, I think it's overreaching now. I think there's always going to be a pull. Our government is really established where there should be, checks and balances from the legislative branch and the executive branch, and within the executive branch between the states and James Madison really kind of designed that in the Constitution at the federal level anyway, between the branches, and the idea of no one person can take control of it all. And where we are now, like in the department, the problem that you get to with the Department of Education is, as it continues to grow, people keep trying to view their existence, grow their existence, and it just continues to grow. And at points you have to step back and say, we've grown too big, we got to pare it back. Examples, two things this year. One is the student loan bill. The Department of Education came in and started trying to change the student loan bill, which now because it was done in the health care bill. So people who are paying their loans back are paying at a higher interest rate than they should pay, and the difference in that higher interest rate is going to fund the health care bill. Now they always talk about they reformed the student loan industry, and they did, and the people paying loans back there were increased Pell Grants. That's what they always champion. But the Pell Grant growth and funding the health care bill was done on people who are paying back student loans. And then the other thing is they're trying to change career colleges by rule. They've decided that there shouldn't be profit in education. So particularly Damar, a major education source here in Owensboro, they're trying to, and I've been there, and I've seen people go there and trying to change careers or redirect careers or learn new skills. They're trying to put in rules into place that people from Damar say would threaten their business. And I think that's when the Department of Education has grown out of control and needs to be reined in.